to No Ideas Original featuring Shanon and a good brother, Mr. Rob. Peace,
What's
Rob.
going on, King? Peace, God. What's up with you, man?
Ain't nothing, same shit, different day. Look, we doing something different today. This is, I think, well, it is actually. This is our first live experience.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And what is the StreamYard? That's what we're using?
We're using StreamYard and putting StreamYard through YouTube.
Nice.
It's interesting. It's different because we started out doing shows where it was just you and I, and then we sort of evolved into now we got these guests, like regular guests. Yeah. We had some good guests, and we have some other good guests coming up too. We got Jamerick Woods next week. He's a safety for Duke, and prior to that, he was a safety actually for Michigan.
That's right.
Young Michigan. General Phil from Weston. So
that's gonna be a good show. I think people will enjoy that one.
Yeah, a lot of good interviews in the queue, but today is gonna be probably more so about what we do best, just talking shit.
Let's talking shit, son. That's it. Let's chop it up. We got some good topics to talk about, man. That'll pique our interest and maybe some things we can learn from as we dig into this stuff, man.
Yeah. So how's your week been so far?
Week has been good, man. We had this terrible storm, brother. Tuesday, Connecticut had a nice little tornado strip through here that shut shit down. Even the dispensary is shut down, which is whack. You know what I'm saying? But most of the people are safe, but there's a lot of people without no water. There's a lot of people without no electricity, no internet. Yeah. So, people are panicking. They can't get no Wi-Fi. So they're taking people back.
We took a quick hit, like our lights flickered once. Yeah, but we didn't lose power long term. But
it tore my garden up. It tore my garden was just whoop.
Damn.
Oh, fuck yeah.
What we did though have an issue with is that I don't know if you experienced the gas. There was only I think I found one gas station actually in town, and then there was one gas station I seen in Brookfield that had gas.
Why is that? Why is that when disaster hits, gas stations slow down? Like it's always some other shit going on with the gas station when cataclysm hit, man.
But you know something? Going to get gas has always been around. Gas and flashlights. When COVID hit, toilet paper was a hot commodity.
I don't even know what. I still don't understand that. So that was such a throw off decoy that they had everyone say, "Look, go that way." Niggas like, "Yeah, go get toilet paper."
Mm-hmm. And everybody laughed at Cam, right? When Cam was talking about he creating this toilet paper. The toilet paper stock probably went through the roof.
Through the fucking roof, son. Along with hand sanitizer and Lysol. You can't even find Lysol nowhere in the world. How about that?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
This is it's what we're going through, and we're gonna have to learn how to deal with some things differently. Most people don't like change because change has you having to change who you are, how you think, and most people don't want to do that. But it's gonna be a cumbersome ride if we don't adapt to change in some way, because there's gonna be a lot of cranky motherfuckers in the next 10, 15 years.
That's for sure. I tell you what though, now that things are opening up more, we open the business back up. Like I'm spending a lot of time.
That's dope. Congrats on that. I'm happy for you on that, brother.
But here's the crazy thing though. It's like, people in New York, it's like they haven't missed a beat. Like, the traffic then picked up all of a sudden. Talking about school and all. It's like, everything went out the window. I think the only thing that's closed down there still may be like the indoor malls. But I see a lot of people out and about now acting like what's going on.
The pizza shop open?
The pizza shop open.
Chinese store open.
Chinese restaurant.
Jamaican restaurant open.
The Chinese restaurant. I was sharing with Tanya, the Chinese restaurant today for lunch. I was like, I need to get me like some rice or something to eat that never long. So I went to get rice. And when I got there, they had like the old bulletproof glass that the liquor stores have. They had that up.
It went back to 86.
Where you pay one spot where you pick up your order. When you go to pay, they want you to put your money in a pot. And then the lady take the money in a pot and dump it in a rice cooker. Which was bug to me. I'm like, why would she do that? She dumps it in a rice cooker. And I guess they steam cleaning the money or whatever. But I'm not mad at them because Chinese people, from their experience with SARS, they really learned, and that's why you see them before anything. They stayed with the mask on and prepared.
Right. Watch them and watch how they move, man. And if they ain't moving, like they in a panic, pay attention, man. A lot of stuff, like I said, we talked about this earlier, man. The fear campaign is on. It's to keep your anxiety high and your panic button right there. And what that does, there's a thing called adrenochrome. When you got your blood boiling like that, you know what I'm saying? And there's a whole different taste of your meat. When you got this boy, and they the same thing they do to dogs, because Asians, unfortunately, they eat dogs, and we love dogs over here, but they eat dogs. But they what they do to them to get the flavor in the dog is when they put the dog in the oil. Live, just skin him, put him in the light, and he's screaming for his life. The adrenaline that's in the meat goes into the meat and it saturates the meat, gives the meat a sweet taste. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Same thing can happen to us. You know what I mean? You get us all scary and feared up. And look, and you be honest with me, they got these melatonin pills. I'd be like, where that melatonin coming from, son?
Yeah.
Where you snatch your melatonin from?
Melatonin a commodity now, though.
Yes, sir. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We still got people missing too. I'm just saying. Hey, it's my little sick mind right there, bro.
So we have a interesting show and a number of discussions today. So we're gonna talk about Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones. The fight is now on.
Oh my God.
We're gonna talk about and recap the Rick Ross Chainz battle.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the sports without a crowd and how you're feeling about that.
It's a different.
Talib Kweli is permanently suspended from Twitter. Permanent suspension is another way of just saying you're banned, brother.
You're banned. You're right. You're barred.
Yeah, and then we're gonna talk about social distancing, and is that the new norm? And then we'll close out talking a little bit about J.W. Lucas and Tamika Mallory's dust up, where Tamika Mallory had to get them together.
Right. Set that nigga straight. And it's crazy about him, and we'll talk about that. But just to jump on him real quick, there's some things that he talks about that I'm aboard with. Keeping it real, he seems to be more of a metaphysician, meaning he thinks about the cosmos and energy and
I peeped that.
You know what I'm saying? So that some of those things I agree with. You know what I mean? But whatever he got going on, what he got himself into, played himself. So played himself.
What they say, a broken clock is right at 2 times a day.
That's right, bro.
Yo, so what you got with this Tyson and Roy Jones fight? What's your thoughts on this, man?
Listen, man, Roy, don't turn this into a Tarver situation. That's all I'm saying. Roy is the chicken now, but see, Roy is serious. Roy is taking this as a challenge, man. He's looking at Mike like he is the quintessential opponent. He's fast, he's strong, he got all these elements to him as a boxer, and Roy's looking at it like this is the challenge of a lifetime. My thing is, if Mike catches a flashback, it ain't gonna look good for Roy, son. You know what I mean? Because Roy is serious, but I don't know, man. And Roy's putting his hands in God. I don't know if this is the time to put your hands in God, man. You got Mike Tyson in front of you, man. This is gonna be a serious fight. And aren't you holding it? We're gonna be coming easy, right?
Yeah. It's an 8-round exhibition joint. And I don't know if you heard, but did you find out? You know that they're gonna be wearing headgear.
Yeah, but all right, that's almost like a scrimmage. I get it.
Yeah. It's an 8-round exhibition with headgear. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna put it like this. I'm interested, but I'm not invested.
I'm a little invested. I think the promos is getting me. The promos is getting me pulled in a little bit because Mike is working hard. You see, Mike is looking, and Roy is on his skill IQ game too. So I don't know. Maybe they gassing it up for the people.
Mike,
I don't know.
So this is the thing to me. Like Mike, the videos I've seen of Mike definitely look fast. Mike is throwing combinations. You know, Mike looked like he got the fire in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a tape. I saw a clip of Roy. I think it was like 2 days ago. I don't know who posted it, but he was just throwing like pot shots. He was like, yo, he no combinations and nothing. I was just looking. I was like, damn, Roy. Like, yo, do you really want to get into this? I love Roy Jones. I think Roy Jones is still, to me, like one of the all-time greats. Right. But I think Roy Jones was honestly exposed when Tarver tapped his chin. I think
twice.
The first fight that he had with Tarver, honestly, I believe that he lost that fight. And then that fight when he got knocked out. But he hasn't been the same after that. After he got knocked out, Tarver. Then the next fight, he got knocked out by what was the dude named Glenn?
Yeah.
I forget.
I remember that.
Homeboy. And the thing about it is, Roy Jones be getting knocked out. He get knocked out violently.
Yo, son, because you know what? Because it's all the anticipation, the hard work. You're an opponent. You're the underdog. This is Roy Jones. You get a clean shot. That's why Tar was like, "You got any excuses, Roy?"
Yeah. Well, Tarver, you know something? Tarver saw in him, like prior to even fighting him the first time, Tarver saw something in him and was able to exploit it and knew.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace. I think Buddy McGirt was in his corner. Buddy McGirt was a
hell of a trainer.
Yeah, sir, and he knew how to catch Roy. Everyone has their weakness. I don't give a fuck. If you southpaw, people see how you if you just go in one style too often, it's easy to counter if you need somebody to counter you, and that's it. All it takes is one shot, and that's all it took. So, but do you want to take a one shot from Mike though?
Yeah, but that's what's concerning and scary to me. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I've seen people fighting the amateurs, and I've seen people get knocked down with headgear on. But I don't know how many people I've seen with headgear on get clear knocked out. So maybe somebody said to Roy, like, "Yo, Roy, you gotta get it together," because what happened, what really I think drained Roy was he went up and he fought Ruiz and got the heavyweight title, and Ruiz was a slow, flat-footed dude that he was able to kind of out.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people don't realize, like, that wear and tear on your body, you're gaining that weight, losing that weight, putting that weight back and going back and forth. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot for a boxer. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm interested. That's something that I want to see. But in terms of investment, like, I'm not kind of counting down the days. Like, this is the days. Because honestly, I feel like it's going to be a huge theatrical production. That it's going to be like WWE-ish. I think they said YouTubers are supposed to be like. Didn't they say Nate Robinson is supposed to fight somebody?
Nate Robinson's gonna. Oh my god, he's supposed to fight. He's supposed to fight an actual boxer, mind you.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
As the undercard. But let me tell you something. If you go to Triller pay-per-view, that's who's promoting it or whatever. The way they promoting this, yo, you would think this is a legendary. You're gonna get your money's worth from like these guys are doing.
They got it. Do they have a cost yet? They have a cost associated with it?
Nah, they didn't mention a cost. They didn't mention a cost of dollar sign or anything like that.
I will tell you this though. You know who's the biggest loser in this fight? Canelo Alvarez. And you know why Canelo Alvarez is the loser? Because historically, Canelo Alvarez fought 2 months out of the year. May, September, to line up with the Mexican holidays. September 12th is no longer available. His day now, whenever he announced a fight, who is going to buy Canelo's fight unless it's Triple G? And Triple G. Who would buy that over seeing Mike Tyson and Roy Jones exhibition?
So he has a fight on the 12th?
Nah, he don't.
Or traditionally he would do it.
Historically, he would have a fight. How you call it? That beginning of the month of September. Those was his dates. They used to be Mayweather dates because Mayweather always would try to get around the Mexican holidays and get in there
around May, definitely around May 5th, 6th of the month.
Yeah, and in September. So Canelo, last I heard, was trying to fight Billy Joe Saunders or something like that. And Canelo was in this deal with DAZN where they gave him some serious bread. Bread, and I think DAZN was kind of pissed off because Canelo presented them with like a list of people that he was willing to fight.
Right.
I don't think they were happy about any of them because they felt like they couldn't get their bread back. But I'm gonna tell you though, DAZN, I got a subscription. I paused it when all of this started. But to me, DAZN got a good model for pay-per-view now. Like, yo, if I'm gonna pay $10 a month for whatever, and I pay
that fight we watched in Buffalo Wild Wings, that was DAZN too, right? Wasn't that a promotion?
That was who do we see? I think we saw. Now we saw Wilder. We saw
Wilder. Out there. Yeah. That was paid.
Yeah, we saw Wilder. But yo, that's DAZN. I'm telling you, I think DAZN has a good model. I think the other reason why I'm not invested in this nearly as much as interested is because my investment, like, there's a lot of good fights coming up on the calendar. You see Danny Garcia
around this time, it usually like that too.
Yeah, Danny Garcia and Spence.
Oh boy, somebody's coming in.
Then we got Leo Santana. Leo Santa Cruz versus Tank Davis.
Right.
So there's a lot of good matches.
That's right.
There's a lot of good matches that's coming up.
That's right.
You know, so to me, like I'm like, yo, as much as I like both of them, it's a novelty fight for me to see, like to sit around in the crib and for us to shoot the shit and watch it or whatever.
And laugh and joke, and I'm telling you that's gonna be a crazy night, son.
Yeah.
Especially with Nate Robinson being the undercard. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Zain, we see you, but your audio on your camera is bad. Your audio on camera is bad. We see you though. But yeah, so I'm not I'm not like I said, I'm cool to sit around and for us to watch it. But I'm honestly say this too. Like if it was some joint that I had to pay $100 for, I don't know if I would pay the $100 for.
Yeah, I can listen to that on the radio.
Yo, took it back, yo.
I listen to that on the radio. I'm not paying $100 for that, man. I wouldn't even encourage you to do that. Like, if you say Robert's $100, yo, I'll be there next week, so I ain't coming to watch that shit.
All right, so before we move to the next topic, who's your pick? Who's gonna win and why?
Mike said, I'm clear. I can see clearly now. That means all my faculties are working now. So if Mike is saying he's clear now and he was damaging niggas then, listen, man, I don't know if he put them combinations together for Roy gonna go to sleep early, or they're gonna be breaking it up early. Like, all right, it's over. We can't have this no more. I'm going with Mike, son. Brooklyn.
I got Mike too. I got Mike. My initial pick was Mike and decision. And the reason why I say Mike and decision is because I think Roy Jones is going to be moving around. They're going to be wearing.
He's going to tire him out. He's going to tire him out. Mike, yeah. Roy Jones is the chicken now. That's what I said. Roy Jones is the chicken. He used to chase chickens. Now he's the chicken being chased.
But yo, here's the other thing. Isn't Mike like 52 and Mike 53, Roy 51 or 50, something like that?
Niggas is in the 50 Cent club. Both of them.
So do they have 8 rounds in them?
They got it. I don't know, son. They're gonna be biting. They're gonna be dancing around the ring a couple of times, just throwing jabs. Ha, ha. That's it. That's it. Until somebody get up close. Michael get up close. Do his. That's it. And when he get him, I don't know. I'm going with Mike. Either way, I'm going.
For the people, for the viewers, drop your comments in the chat. Who you going with and why?
I want to see you say what.
Yeah, I don't think, to me, again, like it's something that, again, keyword, interest, yes, invested, no. There are fights that that, Rob, we talked about for a minute and be like, yo, this while the fighting this, that, we gotta link up, we gotta meet. Right. When we had the Spence and the Mikey Garcia, like, yo, we gotta see this, that.
This is one of those fights you don't want to miss. And this kind of feels like that. That's why I'm kind of buying into the promotion just a little bit. It's like I'm anticipating the 12 because come the 13th, if I fall asleep and miss something that was like, yo, you should have, I'm gonna be mad.
Yo, everybody in the chat got Mike. You got Mike by knockout or Mike by decision? Which y'all got, Mike by knockout or decision?
How you see? I don't see nobody in the chat. Oh, there goes the chat.
Y'all going Mike by knockout or Mike by decision? I can't wrap my head around. And Mike looked crazy in the sparring that I seen, but I just can't wrap my head around Roy Jones getting knocked out with headgear on. Could you think he'll actually end up getting knocked out with headgear on? Damn, they said Mike is that. Everybody got Mike on the knockout too.
Mike all day. Knockout 3-5. That's up. Mike, that's right. Mike said I'm clear. That means that's the dangerous part, because he's like, yo. He's telling us, I didn't know what I was doing before. Now I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna lace Roy. Roy, you got any excuses, Roy? That's what I'm gonna say all night, son.
I wonder. I haven't seen the bag that they're getting for this yet, though. I wonder how much they're making a piece.
They should just get him money to charity. Mike is building a cannabis resort. I don't know if you watch his podcast, but he's building. I haven't
watched it yet, but everybody keep telling me that it's mad good.
It's mad dope. I mean, and he throws on the likes of anybody you can imagine. Because Mike was a phenom in the 80s into the 90s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was a local hero, man. He would go through certain hoods and show up in certain spots where people would be at all the time. And it was a joy to be like, yo, they go Mike Tyson, son. So,
yo, Kenyatta said, no way they go in the distance. Both of them will pass out.
Yeah, I feel you, son. Uh-oh, we got the Hamiltons in the building.
Yo, I'm wondering, though, honestly, like, that who knows? Like, yo, to me, it's just gonna be a straight exhibition anyway. So, yo, let's switch gears and go to the next topic. Did you see the verses? 2 Chainz versus Rick Ross?
You see the message I sent you? I said, Russ is gonna slash this dude, son. Listen, man. I'm a Ross fan. I love Ross. I'm not 2 Chainz had to grow on me. So I didn't put my effort into it. I was listening to the Ross joints, all the Ross joints I like. I'm like, 2 Chainz, I don't know. He grew on me, son. Wasn't he Titty Boy before that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you know why? That's because
Why did you like it? Tell me what you liked about it.
Well, on a whole nother level, I'll say this, yo. I've watched all of the verses. I think there was maybe one that I missed. And one thing I give Timbaland and Swiss for, yo, the production value has been
yeah, son. They picked up on that. They picked up on a great deal and solidified to where both artists are together and enjoying the shot. Because I love Fab and Jada, and then Snoop and DMX was a classic. I even love the what was it? The Jamaican joint. What was them? I can't even think of their names now, son. Somebody in the chat help me. What was the reggae joint?
Beanie
and right, Beanie.
Beanie and
the quality of sound. The quality of sound when you
Beanie and Bounty. That shit was fire.
The quality of sound, listening to that was dope because it brought me back to an old sound class, Act 3, Stardust Ballroom, just yo, this is the way reggae is supposed to sound. Those 3 were the best, man. Those were the best. Right,
so I'm gonna say, like, I agree. Like, you know, that was one of my favorites. Jada and Fab, I liked a lot. The RZA and Premier, even though the production value on RZA and Premier wasn't great, but that was a good one too.
Positive energy saying, what he said, 2 Chainz lit on fire.
Yo, check it out. This is what I was gonna say. So to me, and I get what you're saying about Rick Ross, when you start talking about lyricism, far more lyrical dude than 2 Chainz. Far more lyrical.
And that's where I'm just by it. I lean to lyrics, man. I'm listening. I'm an intent listener. You start jumping around, you playing around with them. I'm bored now, son.
Yeah.
Can't do it. I don't want to do it.
Yo, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing that I tell everybody about these versus battles that people don't realize. A lot of times, especially I think with us being New Yorkers, you know, the way we view music is that it's very regional in a sense. So in our minds, when we start thinking, like even the DMX and the Snoop Dogg joint, everybody was like, yo, X gonna cook Snoop. But then in my mind, I'm like, yo, Snoop had Doggy Style, which was a classic album. And
there you go. There you go.
And we're so roped into thinking that because DMX feels more, you know, more local and more close to us that he gonna cook them. But some of these songs, like, yo, that's why I appreciate what Positive Energy is saying. Now, honestly, I do think that Rick Ross edged it. But yo, 2 Chainz got a lot of songs that ring off. Like, yo, if you
he does
and go south.
Oh, it's a vibe.
Yeah, you see how people respond to this stuff?
Yeah,
like, oh.
South of the Mason-Dixon, you're gonna hear all that. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm just northeast from Philly and I'm just a lyricist. But you know, there's lyricists all over the place, you know what I mean? And at this my tolerant level and my taste is just a little different.
So this is the rundown of the songs they played. I think Rick Ross started with BMF, Blowing Money Fast, which is a dope song. 2 Chainz, No Lie, with Drake.
Right.
Dope song.
Right.
Then Hustlin', Rick Ross, another dope song. Then 2 Chainz, I'm Different. What I'm saying is like, yo, 2 Chainz made this a lot more competitive than what
he said, yo, he had a game plan. I think he was interviewed Breakfast Club. He's like, I got a game plan. I knew what he was gonna do because he got joints, but I wanted to make sure I gave you 20 hits I know that's gonna rock your socks.
Yeah,
and that's good music, man. And like you said, man, Swiss and Timberland are put together a venue for people all over the world to pay attention, man. You get over 1 billion impressions. I think Snoop and DMX was over 1 billion impressions. Impression means those who chose to come through and leave and come through and leave and come through and leave. For 1 billion people to come through and leave and just experience something like that says a lot, man.
Yeah. I agree, Nels. To me, Bounty Killer and Beanie was the best. Bounty Killer and Beanie showed everybody how they gave
that shit was lit.
Done.
That shit was lit, son.
But you know what was so disappointing? After they was done, they set the bar so high, and then I think 2 days later it was 112 and Jagged Edge, and it was. I like both of them, but the production value on it was just so disappointing. I'm like, I can't get into this. Like, yo, it keep freezing up. It keep getting off. It was just not good. You know,
it was terrible. Yeah. Terrible.
All of them, all of the verses I've seen so far to me have been closely contested because of what I was saying. Like, you know, you on live and you watching it and you see the responses. You're not only seeing responses from the people you grew up with in New York. You seeing people that's like, yo, I went to high school and ATL, and when this hit, I knew what it was, and you know, such a connection to it. You know, the only verses I ever seen that I was like, yo, this is a complete wash was when Scott Storch washed Manny Fresh. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, let me say, I think Manny Fresh was selling a book that day. He was like, yeah, you gotta pay attention to me. I'm about to get scraped. Scott, you know how many hits that man has? Oh my God, that was a slaughter right there.
Interesting. Janelle said, what's the next verses we'd love to see? Cardi B was on the radio this morning, and Cardi B, being in true New York fashion, the verses she said, and I was like, oh shit, she's brilliant.
Who she want to go up against?
G-Unit versus Dipset. G-Unit versus Dipset.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
That'd be a great one. That'd be a great.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
That would be great. Who's gonna show up? 50 and Jim Jones? Them two be out. They be going at each other all the time, so that'd be dope.
Yeah,
get two of them to get your paperwork in.
I also heard they were saying Wu-Tang. Who was it? Actually Zain was saying Wu-Tang versus
Nels is saying Mary against Keisha Cole. Mary or Washa. That's not even a battle, son. I don't think.
Yeah, nah, she don't. Yeah, I don't think Cole got that. Mary catalog is too extensive.
Man, how about Mary and Faith Evans?
I don't think
Faith got the she ain't got. Mary got too many. Yeah. Everything Mary's like LL. Everything she got, son. She got joints for days, yo.
Yeah,
can't do that. Keisha Cole should get washed.
Keisha Cole to me would be in like the bracket if you start talking about Keisha Cole versus maybe like Keisha Cole versus Shanti, something along those lines, like something like that.
Right. That is more suitable competition or versus, I would say.
I know.
Brandy Monica. Let's take it there.
I think they try to pitch that, but I feel like they try to pitch it, but
didn't work.
Monica turned it down and said that she wasn't interested. It's like they tried to set up Chris Brown versus Usher too, and Chris Brown said no.
Okay, well, yeah, all you can do is take a shot, man. That's all you can do, man. That's it. I try to have a hood one.
Yeah.
I try to have a couple of dudes from my hood to put it together. I have a Boston Road version. We're gonna do that shit too. We're gonna do it too. We're gonna put it
I seen some. I know my man that live up in Edenwald. He was putting them up on his live, like local cats having verses also.
Shout out to Nasty Noah and Buha, my man G Money and Josiah. That was the four that I was gonna have.
That was what you was
trying. That was the lineup. So Buha versus Nasty and Shalant versus Josiah. She was crazy. So.
Nah, I also noticed from that versus last night too, and maybe it could be that it was a Thursday evening, but it looked like probably only maybe like 100 or 120,000 people on when I looked at it.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't hit the 200,000.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just my opinion. It's I don't know. I don't know if their catalog. I mean, because Rick is the one who has a stronger catalog with music and features than 2 Chainz, I believe. And he has a lot more music to offer where, someone would tune into that. But outside of that, I see why the numbers were low. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was at the end of the day though, it was a good show. It was a little bit over the top for me. I don't know if you've seen that 2 Chainz brought some strippers out. Rick Ross
had chicken with massage.
Lemon pepper chicken wings and
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, man. It wasn't even about the music. It was about putting on a show.
Yeah. But something, I guess this is kind of going into the new normal for us, and entertainers trying to figure out a way to stay relevant because at the end of the day, they make money off of the streams. Now they're going to dig into their catalogs and stream. So a lot of the songs I like, and I give 2 Chainz credit because 2 Chainz to me is not a lyricist, but 2 Chainz do have a lot of records.
Right. And it's more than one way to skin a cat. So, like I said, I appreciate what Swiss, the idea Swiss came up with, and Tim to put this together. I mean, there's so many combinations and so many artists. There's so many ways we can throw verses and have a good time for a couple of hours and kind of reminisce and go back, because that's exactly what I felt that Snoop threw me back. Mm-hmm. And I was like, even when Nelly and Luda was on, I was like, damn, I forgot Luda had.
Yeah.
I was bugging like, yo, that's not. And the way technology's got everything is lickety split. You forget what happened 10 minutes ago because they put something new in your face. You forget about stuff that happened just 5 years ago if you're not refreshing yourself or memorizing stuff. Mm-hmm. You forget it. And Luda got bangers, my nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Positive Energy said that he doesn't feel like that they marketed well enough. I mean, I saw like the post on Versus, because I followed them on Instagram, so it was out there. They didn't even, when it started, because I caught it at the beginning. I watched from the beginning. When it started, they didn't even seem engaged.
Right.
Like the DJs was warming up and everything, but originally both of them were sitting down. Now Beanie Man and Bounty Killer set the bar there. You got to be up performing your joints.
Yo, but see,
started performing.
That's a clash. That's a reggae part. That's what I like. I know that scene. You just get them the mic and the DJ just go. You know what I'm saying? And they just rip freestyles back and back. Yo, that's the way it should be, man. A clash. A real clash, man.
Yeah. So switching topics.
Switching gears a little bit.
Yeah, now that we have the NBA back, we got Major League Baseball back, NHL is back, even NASCAR racing is back.
Yeah. I think they would add that back first.
Yeah. All of these, golf is back, all of these different events are back. Have you had an opportunity to watch any of these games yet without a crowd, and what's your impression of it?
Well, I like it. I do like it. It is different. It is very different. It's weird watching the virtual reality on the side and people making faces while they're watching the game. But I tell you this, it has improved some of the shot selection some of these guys are making. Like Michael Porter went off, Gary Trent went off, TJ Warren was killing. These guys are scoring 30 and 40 points. And the idea of that is that when you have a big arena and you kind of consolidate it or dense it out a little bit, your sight perception, how you shoot the ball is a lot different. It's like shooting in the gym versus shooting in the stadium. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because your peripheral eyes are catching the stadium, and now they don't have it. It's just like I'm shooting in my garage right now, son.
Yeah.
I can do anything. But the game itself, I am enjoying it because it is like a gym game. And when you're in the gym, but ain't nobody looking, you go off, son. You got bragging rights. You want to get busy. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what we're looking like. We're looking at a highly rated gym game right now. So.
Yeah. I watched a couple of NBA games, and I've watched Major League Baseball.
I watched baseball too.
It's really well. First, let me start with Major League Baseball. I like baseball because I played baseball for many years.
My first love.
Baseball in general is a boring game. Like, look, I like baseball. I can sit through baseball and I can watch it. I take my wife, me and my wife, we've gone to baseball games, and after the first inning, she'll be like, "Yo, how much longer to this?" Like, if you don't have a genuine interest for baseball, it's very, very boring. And if you go to baseball, actually the crowd involvement, and having a crowd engaged. So now I'm watching baseball with the pumped in audience.
Sound. Yes, the DJ is doing that. The DJ in the booth is doing.
Yeah, and to me, I'm watching it. I'm like, I guess it's okay because now I'm getting sports, so I'll settle for it. For basketball, though, basketball to me, it's almost like what you said. Like, basketball to me is a lot more entertaining because you don't need a huge, massive crowd to have
a good game.
A wonderful, good game.
Yeah.
And the basketball crowd is not nearly as involved and participative as football and a baseball crowd.
Right.
And also what Kenyatta's saying is true. Like, there's no home court advantage, right?
Right.
I just wish they wouldn't put the virtual people on the side. Like, I don't need that.
Ain't those the virtual glasses? Because I remember NBA trying to promote people to come in and watch a game courtside, but didn't have to be courtside. Because not everybody gets an opportunity to courtside because the seats they're ripping you off for them seats. So I'm thinking, I was like, wow, so now they got an opportunity to use the virtual reality feature that they've been promoting way before. People are using it now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Which is that's that little movement of getting people to change how they look at doing things, man. And I think that's the wave. Not to say that the audience crowd is not going to come back, but it's going to be a while before we do that.
I agree. You know
what I'm saying?
Positive energy made a good point. Like we said, what it is the dude's been home working on them jump shots more than ever before doing this quarantine stuff. That's why people going on. You can't be in a club unless you're Lou Williams.
Right, son. You go get some chicken wings. Some chicken wings after you. Lou is sick for that. Excuse me.
I also believe that I don't know if Major League Baseball is going to be able to finish their season.
Nah, the Marlins got hit. They had 19 players get hit with COVID. You see, and the statement that Derek Jeter put out, he was saying, my players are saying they was just going to get coffee. They was going to another player's house for dinner. They wasn't at the titty clubs. It wasn't at the strip club. It wasn't at the restaurants. But this is Miami. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Who you fooling, man?
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, basketball so far has been successful, and they've been able to move forward with the game with the rates remaining low because they also have them in they have them in the bubble.
Right.
So everybody is consolidated. Everybody's right there, literally on site. For baseball, and you traveling around, you got people from hotel to hotel and all that stuff. Like, that increases the possibility of actually contracting COVID. So that's why baseball haven't figured it out.
Man, the NBA is the model because they're in a bubble. You know what I mean? And I had just off a side note a little bit, I just went to the dentist, and they have these devices at the dentist that are pulling aerial things out of the air so that you don't get sick. As they were going into my teeth, they had a machine like right over my mouth. And I'm like, what's that for? She's like, look, every time I'm going in your mouth, shit that fly off is going in there and not hit me or hit me in my shield. I said, wow. I said, that's the case. Y'all, you should have always had that. But this is the thing. Prior to what happens with the corona and the pandemic and everything, we've all been used to being so close. And sometimes a little too close. So a little bit of space is a little good right now. You know what I'm saying? Just to give people some breathing room and some room to think, man. I mean, we've been used to being on top of each other for so freaking long.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Give me a little space. 6 feet, maybe 3 feet. All right?
Yeah.
6 feet might be a little thin. But see, even that, Shah, is a gateway of setting people up for what's to come. You know what I'm saying? All that is body scanning. They're making sure we all got enough space in between each other so that you can scan each other. Mm-hmm. That's the real science behind that. So we'll see, man.
Yeah, I had somebody was asking me the other day. They was like, without an audience, how are these teams, how are people making money? Because everybody assumes that all the money is made at the gate in the concessions, which
it's a large part of it.
Yeah, they do make a lot of money, but you know what the real money is? Television rights, especially for the NFL. The NFL will never need to have another crowd. The NFL got $1 billion television deal. You know, why you think? Think about it. Before, when we used to watch football on Sunday and Monday, now it's football Sunday, Monday, Thursday,
sometimes Saturday
game, right?
Right, Saturday. That's right.
And then all these teams now also, a lot of them have their own network. So the money that they losing in the stands, they now have content, the games that they could get the advertisers to actually come back and be like, you know what, the fans are going to be watching the game. I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't seen the numbers yet. I'd be interested in seeing. I wouldn't be surprised if the ratings are up for the games.
Yeah, the layoff did that. The layoff kind of rocked people to sleep, and then it was like, all right, I want some of it, some semblance of it back, and just having the competition back, because that's really what you want to watch. You want to watch the teams compete. No one's watching to see who's in the stands unless you're looking for yourself. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be an adjustment where people are going to have to just kind of get used to. If you focus on the game, that's what you're focused on. Unless a bat goes into the stands or nigga jumping for a loose ball into the seats. I like to see that now because they're going to be hitting the plexiglass trying to dive for a ball. But listen, man, it's I enjoy watching it. Is it different? Yes, but I'm more or less looking at the competitiveness of it and see where it goes from there. I like to see after all this takes place and they go through the playoffs, how that unfolds going into the next season. Because when the season going to start? Christmas, and then how's that going to fold into? Are you gonna make that into regular play?
Yeah.
Where, you know what I'm saying, March comes around and then April starts the playoffs. And then you got the playoffs from April to June to get back in regular rotation. So, yeah, Kenyatta says commercial and TV deals. That's right, son.
Yeah.
And you know it on Sunday. I mean, it's got Budweiser, they got Coors, they got Modelo, they got Taco Bell. You got everything, son. All of the snacks and Sunday is a religious day for football, man.
The reason why I say that I want to see what the ratings look like is because, you know, it's a small number when you think about how many people that they're actually taking out of the stands and putting in front of the TV. But
them seats, Shy, just cost, man. That's a big penny that he missing those. Yeah. I went to the Dallas Giant game a couple of years ago, but in Dallas, the Giants, right? The seat I paid for was the Hall of Fame seats. Them seats was like
300,
400, 450. Yeah. But I was right on in the end zone. Mm-hmm. But I did the math. I'm looking around the state. I'm like, well, how much of the rest of them? You know what I'm saying? If I paid $450,
yeah,
the person next to me had to pay $450. I'm like, and I'm doing like,
nah, but wow. Look, I'm gonna tell you, you know what? Honestly, the person sitting next to you may have not, because they got the PSLs, those personal seat license, right? So you could get a PSL. Somebody could be a season ticket holder.
That's right.
And then actually sell their seats, sell individual tickets. Like I took my son 2 seasons ago to a Jets game, and I think for those tickets I may have paid like $200. And we was literally we was probably like in the third or fourth row, close to the 50-yard line.
Right.
It's just a matter about if the season ticket holder actually is selling the tickets for less, because sometimes, you know, a lot of times corporations buy up the tickets also. Sometimes individual people, and then at the last,
a lot of corporations. I know working in corporations, they send me like, "Yo, Rob, you want to go to the game?"
Yeah,
Nels is known for that too. They do that with her spot too, man. They'll give her a couple of Nick games or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So you figure now you don't have the people in the actual seats. You got them at home. For football stadium will hold what, 50, 60,000 people. For baseball, probably
easy,
like 20, 30.
Yeah, between there.
So you've moved those people, which is a small number, out of the seat. You move them on to TV. People are tired of watching the old reruns, because we had to go 2 or 3 months of watching classic games, right? We watched X in '86.
It's painful. It was painful. It's painful. I watched everything Boston.
Yeah, we watching all them joints, and now we got new content. So it's like, I can see people actually tuning in. I want to see what the ratings are. I want to see what the ratings are, and I also want to see what football learns from baseball's experience of having people travel state to state.
That is the Achilles heel. It's the travel.
Mm-hmm.
It's the traveling back and forth and going from state to state. You know what I mean? This is my thought about this whole thing we going through, man. It's cleanliness, man. Ain't got nothing to do with nothing else but being clean. Because on the surface, everything, that's how germs and things sit around, because people are nasty, man. You know what I mean? And you confine everyone in a bubble, but you can't do that with everyone. You can't put everybody in the bubble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially when you got, teams that are in Washington, they need to get to New York, they need to get to Florida, back to California. You can't do that, man. So we got to find a great. And what's dope here, we talk about, cleanly. I watched at the halftime of the NBA games. Mr. Silver got a whole clean team. They come in and wipe down the bench. They wipe down the players' they wipe down the coaches' benches. They wipe the floor. They clean the floor. Niggas got a brush that's cleaning the backboard and the rim. It's like ain't nobody getting sick. Even if they jumping for a dunk, they're not even getting sick up there. So that's a part of the intermission. Is the cleanliness. Ain't got no cheerleaders and none of that. We just somebody cleaning the chairs now. So.
Yeah, you know what they need to do? They need to tap in to try to see if they could get Lysol as a sponsor or something like that, right?
You have Lysol on the backboard. They have it on your jersey right here somewhere.
Everything is. And you bring that up. That's a good point. That's another source of revenue. Advertising.
Yeah, son.
Never source of revenue.
We have to follow Cameron's blueprint and make some aerosol cleaner or something.
Yeah.
So we can have it out there.
So next, Talib Kweli permanently suspended. And again, when we say permanent suspension,
he's been barred.
You banned, brother. You're not
been barred. The violations is stipulated. He's been harassing this young lady at the ADOS or whatever you call that, the Pan-African movement thing she got going on. And she was harassing him. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm not doing none of this stuff. Like, this chick is making all these accusations, but according to Twitter, he's been making violent harassment threats to this lady, Miss Moody, complaining about whatever he's talking about. I don't even really know what he's talking about.
What it stemmed from? She put out a list of rappers that had light-skinned wives, and she had him listed. He put him on the list, and he must have attempted to respond to her, and she said something along the lines of like, "That's a conversation for another time." His response was, "Nah, that's a conversation we need to have now," and she wouldn't entertain it. But for the next 2 weeks, he insisted on having this conversation, engaging with this woman around this discussion. And as a result of it, they said that he was harassing her. Mm-hmm. But I think what put him over the edges, and I didn't know this, they said that he had a history with other women on Twitter where he's had a similar pattern.
Their opinions that he may not agree with, and it just turns into a verbal battle. And that's what Twitter does. You see Twitter, they got a cancel culture community on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? You gotta watch what you say on there. He's like, I'm not watching what I say. I'm an MC. This is what I do. I say how I feel, whether you like it or not. You can voice your opinion. Twitter, why can't I?
Now I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't follow the story enough, and I didn't look at his tweets. The only thing that I saw from it was that he consistently insisted on this woman having a conversation with him, and I think honestly that's where he went wrong. Like, to me, it's an open platform. He didn't necessarily have to keep adding her, tweeting her, trying to have the conversation with her, whatever.
Could have left it alone.
Yeah, he could either left it alone or he could have just tweeted it for the general public. But they said that he was insisting, like continuously trying to engage her around this discussion. And as a result of it, like all this other stuff came up with him as it relates to Twitter. Like, and I think that, and I don't know, again, I think that may have set him off because they're saying that she put that up and then he accused her of being a colorist. And then now some other additional information supposedly came out that he supposedly has sex with the porn star Sarah J. Did you hear about this?
Right, yeah. He says Sarah J is his people. See, and then you start digging into people's personal business. I heard the young lady was getting at his wife or his mother or his baby mother. She started pulling his family into it, and we're over the internet having these dialogues and these conversations, and it's just all emotional, man. I don't agree with them. That's probably why I didn't follow it as much. But it was shocking to see someone barred from a social site like that because of their comments. But look, man, Kweli's my man. I'm team Kweli. Leave it at that.
Well, here's the thing, you know, there have been other people that have been barred. You know, and I'd be interested in seeing like some of these other social media platforms actually take a stronger position on misinformation, right? Because right now, if he could get banned for his harassment, then we need to get people banned for some of the hate that they spew.
Right, and look at the stuff they're arguing over. Classic, light skin, dark skin. Really? That was some 70s, 80s shit that, you know, the lighter you are, the lighter the brighter. However the slogan goes, if you're light skinned, you get a little pass because you're lighter. And if you're darker, you know what I'm saying? They fear you a little more. They do fear you because you're dark skinned. We should have gotten past all of that. You know what I'm saying?
That's hard for us to get past because that comes from internal racial inferiority. And that actually came to us from our oppressors. So
absolutely,
for the purpose of division, you know, again, and I always tell people that race is about classification, right? You want to classify to demonstrate that somebody is superior. So if you have people collectively together feeling like, all right, united, we're black. And then you have somebody who comes and plants a seed like, yeah, both of y'all black, but you're better because you're light or you're this or whatever it is. Then it creates that divide amongst those people, which in turn keeps you in power and keeps people from uniting. And that's why, you know, that internal racial inferiority is going to continue to exist. That and the fact that European culture has brainwashed us where you have this perception of beauty is blonde
hair, blue eyes.
Yeah. And my wife and I, we were talking the other day, and she was saying to me, she was watching chick flicks, and she was like, you know, I've come to the conclusion that Jennifer Aniston is my favorite white chick flick actor. And I was like, I never really watched that much of Friends, but I told her, I was like, I don't mess with Jennifer Aniston. And I stopped messing with her when I think People Magazine or one of those magazines named her the most beautiful woman in the world. And I was like, Jennifer Aniston is the most beautiful woman in the world? I don't know about that.
Right. I mean, and you got to remember, when you're using color to denote good or bad or indifferent, listen, man, let's just be honest. There's not a country that's called black. It's not a country called white.
Yeah.
But we use these images and these titles to identify who or what we are, but then we use them against each other. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We don't use it for the purpose of saying, well, dark is a great color for this purpose, and it's good to have a light. We're not on it that way. We're thinking that one is better than the other, and neither are better than the other. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's just an old trick of keeping people divided from a long time ago. I love all people, man. But I hate motherfuckers to get on my nerves too. So you know what I'm saying?
You know what that creating that division right there has led to why also black people engage in a lot of the crabs in the barrel mentality as well. Yeah. Right? Roped into like, nah, I don't want to support this person because I don't want to see them do better, or or they intentionally or go out of their way to say like, you know what, I have a relationship with you. You have a black product or whatever, but I'm not going to support it. I'm going to support this person, whatever it is. I just think that, and you and I were talking behind the scenes about this earlier. I just think that there's been so much done systemically. You know, when we start talking about systemic racism, we're talking about all these different variables of things that need to get undone. But aside from the systemic racism point for how white people have to undo racism, I think that there have been things systemically done to
us.
People
hell yeah, we are
gotten us and entrenched and trained us, conditioned us to be against each other and to have these beliefs around this stuff. And I said what you earlier. I said that's harder to crack than the external people.
That's the entire result of systemic racism. That's the result of it, showing that this is what I can do to two people, get them beefing and fussing and cussing in my hands. It may look like I ain't got nothing to do with it.
The same people, though, right?
The same people, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So we have to learn is to start paying attention to ourselves. Once you pay attention to yourself, you ain't got no time to be worrying about who's light, who's black, who got a big nose, big ass. Look at yourself. Mm-hmm. Focus on yourself, but you got more work to do for yourself than you here worrying about somebody else and what they got going on, man. And we talk about this all the time, man. We go back to some of Elijah's lessons. Knowledge is self. You ain't got no time to be worrying about somebody else when you got so much you got to worry about for yourself.
Yeah.
That's just it, man.
I just hope though that we get to a place where people start unpacking some of this stuff. You know, like I think in a show like when we first started doing the podcast, we talked about trauma, and this is like one of the biggest traumas that we carry around as Black people that we have to endure and deal with, and it's only further perpetuated by outsiders that have conditioned us as insiders to go with this belief and put us against each other. So,
OG Dash said, "I'm proud of your knowledge, black man." Peace, OG.
Yeah,
appreciate that love.
I don't subscribe to, you know, the notion of if you're a dark-skinned man and your wife is light-skinned, that, you know, you're a colorist or whatever. I think what Talib Kweli has going against him, and this is just my opinion, is that maybe people view him as being such a huge advocate for Black people and a huge representation for what Black is supposed to be like. And
what's wrong with that though? You got to.
No, it's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing. You know what it is though? It's that it's more so wrong with the other people.
Right.
Why? Because they can't accept that you can be all those things, you know, and it doesn't necessarily mean that your woman has to be in the reflection of, you know, your woman doesn't have to be a dark-skinned woman if, you know, how you call it. It's a matter of what you prefer and what you like.
Right.
So I don't know why people are so hung up on that he's a dark-skinned man dating or married to a light-skinned woman. Unless, and again, I want to be totally transparent around this, unless there's a situation where he made statements that were derogatory.
Right. Look at that jigaboo black bitch.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Where
it's like, yo, Quad, what you talking about, son?
Yeah.
You got to question his motive, what you talking about. But if you know Kweli, if you know his history, this man owned a bookstore. He respects John Henry Clark and all of the elders that have given us this knowledge about European conquerism and colonialism and all these different things. So when he's coming from a perspective of light skin, they looking at them like, you stupid? Like, what are you talking about? I love all women. This is the woman that I love. Yeah. So what's your point? Yeah. But then she took it into the rappers, and the rappers are promoting light-skinned girls. That's not the rappers doing that. That's the industry doing that. The industry don't want you to see a beautiful chocolate brown woman, dark-skinned blue black woman. Because they're out there, son.
Who was it though? Which rapper was it though that said that they got on set to shoot that video and there was nothing but light-skinned women there or something? And I don't
remember. I know you're talking about, but I don't remember. I don't remember that.
There is a level of say so, I guess, if an artist is established enough that they could be like, yo, this is the depiction of who I want depicted in the video. But again, I have to do my own research and look back and see what was the actual transcript or the tweets between them. Because I didn't have an opportunity to read the tweet.
I didn't really dig into it, but it's kind of a sound bite. Talib Kweli gets barred from Twitter. So like, what this nigga say? Because he got his own podcast. It's live. I like it. It's dope. He has some of the most profound, you know, interviews on there with some of the greatest people in hip hop and music and movies. And the dialogue is dope. So I'm like, what does this dude say, son? He must have flipped out on somebody. Somebody's got on his nerves. But Twitter does that. And other artists have said they got into beef on Twitter because of opinion. So let me tell you something. Words are vibrational, man. You can hit somebody with a certain word and that shit will hit a nerve. And they be like, what you say? I didn't. And then you got a war. And now you typing.
Yeah,
nah, son, don't take
that's
that
where
character, man.
Talib Kweli went wrong, though. To me, that's where
that's where he went wrong. He got his emotions.
Emotions, yep. That emotional response to get you all the time when you respond
all the time, son, and it gets you all the time.
You're thinking clearly, and then he just kept going with it, and I guess that's what And it appears that they're saying that he has a history of this, where he's gotten to these exchanges with these women and stayed on top of them around it. So
that's right.
Social distancing, the new norm. We've been social distancing now since what, March?
March 12th, man. Well, there's a lot going on with social distancing. It's allowing us so much our time, meaning that we're not on the clock for someone. We're not out at it. I hate to say it, working for someone else, because people do have to work. You know what I'm saying? But we're closer with our families. We got some time to reflect and use some introspection. You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't get a chance to do that because you're rushing off to work, or you got to get home to pick up the kids. Now you're in your homes and you're looking at what your kids do all day and what they should be doing while you're at work and all sorts of stuff. But I think it's kind of a good and bad thing. Like I said earlier, man, for so long we developed these atmospheres in society where we're right on top of each other. You know what I'm saying? We ride the train early in the morning, 6 in the morning, and everyone's right on top of each other. You know what I'm saying? We've been doing that for years, so we got so used to it through repetition, because people still gotta get to work. It's like I'm gonna wait for the uncrowded train. It's not doing that.
That's not gonna happen if you're trying to get to work in the morning.
You're trying to get to work. But now you have to find means of doing things differently. And I think it's a necessary evil to a certain extent, because it allows you to think differently. You know what I'm saying? And be more a little creative and a little innovative by how you live your life, and stop living through the same rat race, hamster in the wheel. I keep doing the same shit. I got to do something different. I got to find a different way to get to work. I got to find a different way to work. You know what I'm saying? And find a living. And this is the time, I think we're in the age of pure capitalism from an entrepreneur standpoint, where if you have an idea, please exercise your idea. Get the right people around you who are like-minded people, and if y'all can share some commonality, you got something, man. And believe in yourself and make a move. So social distancing has allowed so many things, and I think there's a shift on the planet now because everyone's affected. It's not just here in America; it's across the board. So everyone's looking at family living a little differently. I just spoke to my neighbor. He said his son usually works 14, 15 hours a day, and because he can't work, now he's taking his daughter. He's spending more time with his daughter, and he can't even imagine going back to work now because now he's raising his daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it has its pros and its cons, man.
Yeah, I think that I agree. Like, I think it's pros and cons to it. One of the pros for me is that I've always been a big fan of having like my own personal space.
Yeah.
And I think
me too.
And I think culturally, as Black people, we understand. But prior to social distancing being a popular term, we understood social distancing, and we were very, very sensitive in terms of people being in our personal space.
That's right.
So now to have it like in a sense of being formal and people understanding and appreciate it, I don't know if it's much of a shift for people of color, except for when they want to get together at these events and parties and stuff like that. Then it becomes it becomes something that's a concept that they have to wrap their heads around because they become so used to the entertainment and doing all the other things. But think about it, when you went to the store, you never wanted anybody breathing down your back.
Right. And someone hit you on your shoulder, you'd be like,
face to face with you like that.
Yo, someone brushed you. You was like, "What's up?"
Yeah.
And that, to be honest with you, that can help in a societal manner on how you deal with people. You know what I'm saying? Because
it should be less conflict as a result of it.
It should be less conflict, exactly. So because no one's up on top of each other. So I'm saying it's pros and cons to it. I know there's agenda behind it as well, but you got to realize that there are things that we're gonna have to adapt to still. Yeah. You're gonna have to adapt to change, and that's where we are. We're at that bridge. Remember, in the 80s, right, when cell phones and these electronic devices was just coming out, some people jumped to it like, wow, this is the new phase. There's some people to this day won't even touch a computer. They feel as though they hit the enter button and a bomb is going to go off. They're so frightened, and the anxiety is gripped them so much that they're actually, can you type that for me? And it's like, it's kind of, it's 2020, it's 2015, it's 2019. Yeah. You should know how to send an email by that, but some people don't even know how to send a text. Keep it real.
I agree with Janelle saying, though, like the pro also is the family. Like, all this time at home with the family.
Absolutely.
More home cooked meals, more family activities, just different things like that. And like you said earlier, I think, having the opportunity to be introspective, sit down, read a book, just really enjoy yourself.
Read a book, find out something about yourself that you maybe wanted to have time.
Tap into your creativity. No Ideas Original Podcast.
This show was birthed during the pandemic.
Now, here's the con, though, that and this really concerns me, because with the advent of technology, I'm a firm believer that I felt like prior to this happening, social skills in general were on the decline. And I think about like our children spend so much time on social media, interacting with people via the internet, looking for validation, that there are a lot of younger people that don't have the ability to forge a relationship face to face anymore, because technology has removed a lot of the intimacy away from having
social contact.
Yeah, having the ability to actually develop a relationship, and so much validation. People get so much validation from what they get back on social media and through technology.
Right.
My concern is that with us making this shift now where everything is going to be about social distancing, and who knows when we're going to be able to interact how we once interacted with each other. But it just makes me wonder, like, is this going to further lead to the decline of people's social skills? Because now they're going to be recluse, like, I'm locked up in my basement all day.
Well, that's the order in which they're trying to set. Because you got to think, man. At one time, it was easy for a kid to go out and play. And I watched the podcast. I think it was Joe Rogan podcast. He was interviewing a professor of this university, and the professor was saying, they purposely remove free play. A kid going outside to be creative and enjoy it. And the reason why they harped on that is because they started to say that kids are getting abducted. So it'd be safe for them to be indoors. So what do you do when you give them indoors? You give them social media. You give them the screen to pay attention to, which now is taking them away from the creativity of going outside and building mud or a mud house or I don't know how. But now when I was a kid, everything was a headquarters. We used to build stuff. This is base. You know what I'm saying? With a bunch of cardboard and sticks and a place you could get in and go out. That we were being creative of building and finding places to hang out outside of being at home. But now you can't get a kid they got this stuck to their damn head.
Yeah, man.
Everywhere they go, it's in their hands. So they're using the phone now to think. No more computation. No more figuring it out. I'm not using it. I will Google it.
Google's everybody's best friend.
Before that, you knew all your phone numbers. You knew how to get to your mother's house through the trees and the bushes. You made your own way. I remember there.
You was playing manhunt, Rob. I could tell.
Son, I knew every exit. I was like Colombiana, my nigga, getting away. You could not catch me. But I remember a PBS special that talked about the nature of play. And they talk about a child that would go out in the forest, pick up a frog, come home, and look up the frog in the encyclopedia to find out it was the same frog in the pond. Yeah. Versus a kid who has this, and they just say, Siri, blue frog. The fuck?
Play therapy is a real thing.
No, son. It's
a real thing.
It opens different neurological ways when communicating with something versus using this. You're creating nothing neurologically when you're using this to think for you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When you go on, when you're driving, or just when you're walking to school and you go the same route, the minute you take a different route, you know, created a new wave, a brain pattern in your head that says, "Oh, I'm finding out a different way to get to the same place." Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, I use this term. It's more than one way to skin a cat. You know what I'm saying? It's more than one ways to make money. It's more than one ways to do a million of different things.
Okay. Positive Energy says, and this is interesting. I would encourage you also, if you want to come in with the link, you can use the link and come in. But he says, actually, we will improve in social skills the more we all get more in tune with ourselves, because the reality is the actual socializing wasn't the most effective way. It's deep. That's true. That's true. Right. I think once you actually tap into your inner self, you know, and you begin to understand yourself, it will help equip you to be better able to to enhance your social skills. But I think the other thing is, so I always tell people, to me, there is more than one part of actually learning. There's theory and practice, right? And I think that what you're saying, positive energy, to me, it resonates on a level of theory, but I think it also has to be put into practice, right? Mm-hmm. So you think about it, there are some people, to use a sports metaphor, there's people who can sit down, watch the game, develop. They're great from an X and O perspective and everything. In basketball, they know this, they know that. But then when it comes time for them to get on the floor, they can't execute because they don't have the ability to put it in practice. Right. So as much information that we internalize, that we take in, we process, we sit with, at some point in time, we have to have the ability to actually be able to demonstrate that skill.
And that's wisdom, brother. Mm-hmm. Knowledge must be applied.
Exactly.
It ain't supposed to sit in your head like a book on the shelf. Mm-hmm. Once you get to know something, how you apply it, you share it with someone. And you explain to someone what it is that you just learned, and that's implying wisdom, because now you're showing someone through your words, you're describing it, however you're forming it. That's the wisdom part. That's the part you're putting it in the meatball and you're giving it to someone.
And that honestly is my concern, the actual application, like people having the ability to apply it, because I'm thinking, right, and this is where I'm a little conflicted, because I'm looking at the shift in the world and I'm like,
right.
Previously,
some gonna get it, some ain't gonna get it.
Previously, your development of your social skills, developing your social skills went beyond, and you were able to take that into the real life, and you were able to navigate conflict at a job. You were able to navigate conflict, at school or whatever it is.
Amongst your peers.
Now we're moving away from that, and everything is going virtual. And with it being virtual, I'm like, are people going to still be able to actually apply those concepts with everything being virtual? Or is it even necessary if everything is now going to be online? Do you need to know how to interact with a coworker? Do you need to know how to de-escalate a conflict if you get into conflict with somebody in the street? When on the internet you fight with somebody, you could just block them or turn it off.
Just delete their ass.
So that's it. Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, man, and we're moving, and that's where we're at. We're at that crux. We're at that crux, and that's how we're gonna form our discussion, our debates. This is how we're gonna come to conclusions. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Which is a whole different paradigm, because we've never been here before. You know what I'm saying? And how and the results of it, you can't just ban everybody. Just gonna cut niggas off. You're just gonna hit the button on everybody. That's not humanly. That's from a humanity standpoint. Connection, vibration, all these things are important. You know what I'm saying? Being on here and what we're doing now, video, is great. You know what I'm saying? We're putting out content, we're letting people know, but there's also a thing that when you and I sit across from each other, it's more fulfilling.
It's
you know what I'm saying? It's very organic, it's more fulfilling, and it goes right to the heart of the matter what things is going on.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And I agree with you, positive energy. Like this is definitely going to be interesting to see where this goes. Kenyatta says the highest paid jobs in the world are the ones that help people think less. Who would have thought that you could capitalize so much on laziness? It's true. You know, I was telling my youngest son that the other day. I was like, you know, unless you have a trade per se, you think about it, the people who work with their hands, there's a lot of people who work with their hands that don't get compensated good money. They like, all right, you a mover? Anybody with muscles can move furniture. What specialty do you have?
I know tons of handymen, brothers that can build anything with their hands, man. Just give them the chance and opportunity. They'll push some marbles together, man.
Yeah, I just want to see, like I said, like I think that we're all in a holding pattern to see how this works in terms of social distancing, because the pros with it is, to me, it has reinstated a lot of those family values that we grew up with. Like, look, Kenyatta's my brother. He could tell you that there was a time when we had family game night where our parents sat down with us.
Yeah, we do it now.
Yeah, it was sat down with us, play board games, play video games, all kinds of stuff together. But I think as the world evolved, a lot of that stuff kind of went out the window and people become more busy. And, you know, part of it came from the need.
We got more options. We got more options to be entertained and distracted for us to carve out a space and time where we don't have to do the things we did before. That's passe. We don't do that no more. Now I'm in my phone. I can play Scrabble with friends and all sorts of crazy. That, you know, it's different, bro.
Think about how many kids right now, if they take out their phone and they show their social media, they probably got, I got 5,000, 7,000 followers or friends or whatever it is, right? So even think about the language that's used, right? Because now it's followers on. I don't have Facebook. On Facebook, wasn't it friends?
Was it friends?
Is it friends or followers?
I don't remember.
But social media, there's some social media that has friends, right? So the language is powerful. So these are my friends. People will say they have 7,000 friends online. Who are your friends in real life? Show me them.
Right.
None.
Show up, damn it.
None, because it creates this false
sense of someone connected. Really, right. The likes too, the like situation too. People looking for likes or need likes in order to feel liberated, because people like it, man. Remember, even in verses, I tell you, people pass by, but Swiss makes a point of pointing that out. You know what I mean? Because at it, $1 billion, that's a big number. You know what I'm saying? If numbers is what rule the world, son. So you got 1 billion people coming through. It's a lot of people. If you got, people start posting, I got 10,000 followers. They probably don't even come to your page anymore, son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some people are just like that, but it's crazy.
Yeah, tell me
Facebook
about
friends. That's what Kenyatta said. Facebook friends.
Yeah, it's just a different day and age, and
that's the part I'm saying.
Fluctuating it to moving forward with this is like, all right. So are we now just going? Nobody's going to have the ability to interact with people face to face.
Right, son. Or when you see somebody outside, or you run into them publicly, they're gonna look at it, gonna stick their phone. Nah, text me. I want to talk to you. Text me. Get out of here, son.
Oh man,
it's crazy, man.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy. But it's the world we live in, and I'm saying we have to. There's going to be something that we're going to have to adapt to. There's going to be a change that's imminent, because it's already changing how we do business. It's already changing how we communicate, of course.
Yeah.
It's changing so many different dynamics. I can't even wait to see how they're gonna roll out the first school year from K through 12 and then college.
It's funny you say that, because I was going to just say this and then go to the next topic. But check this out. When you were younger, right? What was the epicenter of where you got all your socialization at?
Library,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you interact with most of your friends probably at?
Park.
Wasn't the school?
Oh, schoolyard?
Yeah.
The schoolyard, yes, sir.
Yo, school gonna be out the equation. School gonna be virtual, right? School gonna be virtual. So now we gonna rely on we gotta go to Instagram and Facebook to interact with our friends, or we gotta make new friends through this device. Whereas for a lot of people, their social outlet was going to school. Even if they wasn't passing in school or anything, they was just like, yo, I'm going to school because I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna play ball, I'm gonna hang out, I'm gonna see the girls, I'm gonna see the guys.
Right. And that was stimulating enough to have something to do when you leave your house. There was places you went to stimulate, whether it was just the park bench, the block to play ball. For some of us, the corner. The corner was one of the best social places on the planet.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't what our parents wanted us to be, but the corner was the epicenter because you saw everything, you learned, you're in the street, you learned so much. Z. Henderson says school and church. Those are good. Those are great social areas where people congregate and learn from one another. Those are necessary. You're not going to get that on IG. Do they try to do IG church? Yes. They doing IG everything, and they trying to replace that with being very social, man. And I get it, man. Even buddy of mine had a conversation with his brother about going out wearing a mask or just going out to restaurants or something. My man was like, I go to restaurants. I'm surprised that some restaurants are open enough to go. And I think his brother was totally against it. And he was like, yo, son, why are you going out there? My brother was like, listen, back to the social distancing where in a restaurant, occupancy might be 150. Now it's 75. So when you go, it's not tables clustered together. It might be a table here, table over there, and that's it. Now you really got to wait to come sit down. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, positive energy say streets still gonna be the streets no matter how
far the social distances go. That's right, son.
I said that earlier, man. I was down in New York. I was looking around. I was like, yo, this look like.
That's why I asked you.
2003 in the Bronx.
Yeah, that's why I asked you. The pizza shop open, Chinese store open.
I think so. It is what it is, man.
It is what it is, yeah. Sir.
Switching gears though to J.W. Lucas. Yo, J.W. Lucas, I honestly didn't know who he was.
I didn't either.
Last week when he had a major foot in the mouth moment. So J.W. Lucas, he originally went on live and he was having a conversation, and he's been weighing in a lot, talking about the whole Breonna Taylor travesty. Right. Rest in peace to Breonna Taylor. And by the way, Breonna Taylor's killers need to be arrested.
Absolutely, lock them back.
He didn't say that. And his opinion on it was that Breonna Taylor, and this is to paraphrase him, got what she deserved because she was affiliated with people who had involvement with drugs, which was found out to be complete false information. Now, after he continued on with that narrative, people, of course, started attempting to call him out and have conversation with him and to help educate him. Instead of him being receptive to getting the information and changing his position, he doubled down and made a statement to Tamika Mallory on a live that he feels that he's more equipped and better suited to lead the Black Lives Matter movement than she is. And for those that don't know who J.W. Lucas is, without even giving you like his any type of information about where I feel he is intellectually or anything, he's a white man saying that he's better equipped to lead the Black Lives Matter movement. That, to me, that statement alone is problematic. They painted him in a corner because Tamika Mallory told him, as a result of him making those comments, she told him literally on the live, since that's how you feel, you're getting canceled. We don't want anybody else doing business with you. None of the rappers or this, that. He must have thought it was a joke. He continued to go off. So for the next day or two, he kept posting on his Instagram all these different things about her and all this stuff. And he refused to apologize. Somebody must have got in his ear. He offered an apology. But of course, they heated him up. They stayed in his comments, stayed after him as it relates to everything that's going on. And this dude, he took down the apology. He's now saying that he may have misspoke because he was too passionate about what he was saying. He's put all this other
he is definitely passionate about what he talks about.
Yeah, all this other content out. But it's, to me, it's problematic. And what's problematic about it is, one, I think that what he doesn't realize, which I think a lot of white people don't realize, is that he made that comment from a standpoint of white privilege. Like, you gotta have some audacity to say, as a white man,
I can run it better than
I'm better suited to run the Black Lives Matter movement. And then on top of that, to compound the issue, to get to the point where you attempt to even defend that statement after people tell you all the different things that's wrong with it, it's just like, when do you close your ears? When do you shut up and just listen and allow yourself to be educated?
He appears to be very, very, I won't say self-centered, but his outlook on life has a whole different outlook. I mean, he speaks more of from a metaphysical perspective.
I agree.
And I think that's where he was coming from when he's talking about running it, because he's looking at it from a humanity standpoint. He thinks people don't run enough because the process of running helps some neurological brain cells move and do certain things. He thinks people need to moisturize their skin. Some of the things he said make sense, but he's coming from a perspective of, this is how you galvanize people. You train the people first. You get them into believing that what they're doing is right from the personal perspective, not so much as the outcry perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because he's really about eliminating fear. Now, what the fuck are we dealing with if we ain't dealing with fear and anxiety right now? I don't know what, because I think that's what's driving everything that's going on right now.
What? Sorry to cut you off, but
bro.
His principle is flawed. The principles that he's laying out is flawed because, for one, I think for him to even attempt to oversimplify how easy it is to resolve these issues.
He don't have no context.
Exactly. I'm like, yo, this dude is like, well, if you just
do your history, nigga.
Yeah, and yo, for you to say something as simple, like I always, to me, you can always tell when people may not get it when they say stuff like, well, I don't see race or whatever. How do you not see race? Like that in itself is an insult to black people, to be like, they're not even acknowledging that, you're not acknowledging me as a black person if you say, well, I don't see race. That's an attempt to minimalize.
Because they don't want to admit that part of them has been established by them by giving races a name. You know what I'm saying? With your age and classification. Yeah. But they set those standards. They set those classifications for whatever reason or purpose they set them for. And now that they're here, they want to say, well, we ain't looking at them. That's technology, man. That's like me throwing a rock and not saying, and I didn't do it. But I see you throw the rock, Nick. Like, listen, and that's back again. That's when, if you focus on yourself personally and you know who you are, what you are, Breonna Taylor, you know what I'm saying? The allegations against, it's asinine. And Tamika Mallory is a perfect person to stand up and voice her opinion. Like I said, she's fighting for all systemic racism to end. How you think, feel, smell, and taste about black people. You know what I'm saying? And she is relentless. You know what I'm saying? She's going after DAs. She's going after police chiefs. And she's standing her ground. Yeah. All praises due for a sister like that, man. It's great to see that, man.
That sister, she set up shop in Kentucky and was like, yo, I'm renting a place. I'm going to be down here until we get
right now. Show up.
Yeah, to me, it's like, yo, why? How could you even, and a lot of his rants and the stuff he talk about, he's a person who's very passionate, and you could tell he's emotional. And like we said earlier, when you're speaking from a place of emotion, sometimes you may not necessarily be your presentation.
You don't know how to control it, man.
Clearly,
you don't know how to control emotion if you're not aware of triggers.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain things that you can say to someone that are trigger. It could trigger a bad memory. It could trigger a bad relationship. It can trigger so many different things, and we're not used to dealing with conflict to where we analyze it and then respond. We're used to just reacting.
Yeah.
So if you don't like what you don't like what you hear, I'm gonna react right to it instead of saying, all right, let me
internalize it, let me process it, let me think.
Do I even need to respond?
Yeah. But
I may not even need to respond. Like I might be going.
So who's this, Rob? Who's this OG that tap him on the shoulder? Forget an OG. Who's your public relations that step to you and be like, yo, turn off your Instagram, just be quiet, don't say nothing else. But now he out here, like one time I seen he put something where he said that he wanted to set up to do to fight a YouTuber or something like that to raise money for
this is blind power. And this is what the internet is giving people. It's giving them this blind power that they have this right to ostracize and think through the internet and through the waves. You can set a campaign against somebody and ostracize them. I guess Black Twitter started that, right? You start a campaign and just all you need is a couple of sound bites to put somebody in the doghouse, and people gonna follow suit. Yo, Twitter said so-and-so is, it's like, and then you retweet it, and then someone else retweets it, and it gets about 1,000 retweets. And here we are, exercising blind power, man. Instead of, I don't know, man.
She told him on the live, you're getting canceled. He was like, you can never cancel me. You can't cancel me. This dude was like a lunatic. He was going off. You can't cancel me. You can never cancel me. You can never cancel me.
And trust me, he's coming from a perspective of, I'm a human. Like you ain't gonna do that to me. Because that's been a dialogue way before social media, canceling people out, redlining, like with that interview with Mr. Jesse and the God Lord Jamal. They was talking about all them different scenarios in the early 50s during Jim Crow, during all that, and the dude is saying, I didn't experience none of that.
Yo,
like y'all are lying.
What's the death blow though on social media when you can always tell that somebody is getting the business handed to them when they turn off their comments. Like,
right. Yeah. They read them. They read all of them.
It's crazy because he got more traffic probably coming to his page now than he ever had, and it's all for the wrong reason. So there's some people that's like, yo, good. All publicity is good publicity. This is not good publicity. When you got to turn your comments off, when I'm sure that whether the black rappers that he worked with, whether they agree to it or not, the amount of pressure that they're going to be under to do the right thing. Like, yo, if he thought that he couldn't get canceled, his business is definitely going to drive.
He going to feel it.
His business is definitely going to drive. And another mistake that he made is, I looked today, I looked at his page.
Well, my wife always says, those who don't hear must feel. His ass don't feel it.
He had his comments turned off, but he had certain comments, and all the comments that he left was comments of people who actually agreed with him.
Wow.
That to me is problematic. That tells me that you don't have the ability to actually learn. Like if you so in tune with the shit that you saying that you believe that, you know what, I don't need to take in what people are saying, the information, and possibly change my approach. Your ego is that crazy that it won't allow you to actually, to actually sit back and be like, yo, maybe I'm wrong. You know what he reminds me of? And to use something like he would do to simplify it. Right. A man that cheats on his wife, apologizes to his wife, and then tells her, what the hell you still mad for? I already apologized. Because he gave his apology. People ain't.
I feel like it should be washed away.
Yeah, he like, yo, I said I was sorry. Why y'all keep going with this?
Yo, son, men like that, they I ain't got no opinions on men like that. I'm gonna leave them alone. This is a nice show.
Yo, that's a good comment right there. Black Lives Matter. JW would already understand he should make Black Lives Matter to himself. But you know what don't matter? Black lives don't matter to him because as a white man, if he believes that he's in a position to
that's an asinine statement.
Yeah, I'm telling you, to run the Black Lives Matter movement, yo. Facts. They're black.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter. It's not a basketball team, my nigga.
Yo, but here's the shit, yo. There are black people that we have lived experience as being black people that don't have the qualifications to actually spearhead this movement. But you, as a white man on the outside, you did a couple of rap records, got invited to the culture, whatever. And now
who's the number one funder of Black Lives Matter?
Yo, I'm gonna tell you something that's even more scary though.
I'll wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something that's even more scary. Why do you think he felt compelled and comfortable enough to repeat that on live or constantly keep repeating that? Why do you think he does that?
Typical Anglo-Saxon male behavior. They think they can say anything. Son. That's what they've been doing. Yeah.
That a couple where he didn't sat in the studio with some of these people and people, how you call it, people didn't give him the pass instead of checking him and be like, yo, bro, hold on a second.
You ain't got you can't speak on that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't even open your mouth.
Yeah, somebody didn't gave him a pass and told him like, yo, it's okay for you to have those conversations or what you're saying is right and co-signed it rather than pulling them. Even if you didn't want to go hard on them, pull them to the side and be like, yo, this is the reason why you're wrong. This, that, and the third.
Right.
But now they let their man out in public looking crazy.
Well, he out there now, brother.
Yeah. He out in the public.
He'll be all right.
So, but yeah, yo, this was actually our first time doing a live
man
podcast. It was a nice touch, yo. I got to give credit.
Shout out to OG Dad, Z Henderson, Positive Energy, Jay Hamilton. Y'all wrote it out with us today, man. That's dope.
Because Zain was the one that was like, yo, let's do it live.
What happened to Zain, son? Yo, Zain, you out there, son?
Yeah, that's Zain right there. Yo, Zain, log in. That's what I told him.
That's him, Z Henderson?
Yeah.
Man, where you at, brother?
Yeah, I told Zain, log in. This was Zain's credit to do it live. For those who came in late, though, like I said, we're gonna be doing some lives, but we're gonna stick with our formula too. We got some good interviews coming up in the queue that I think that people are really gonna like. We got Jamerick Woods, the safety for the Duke Blue Devils. Prior to Duke, he was with Michigan. We got General Steele, who came on talking about all that history with Smith and Wesson. Duck Down talked about Sean Price. That was a fire interview. And if you haven't already been through our catalog and had the opportunity to see some of the other interviews that we've done, we've gotten like mad good feedback from the people that we've been interviewing. We really, really have tried to stay away from what the typical YouTube and podcast people do, where everything is about the gossip and beef, and try to actually come on here and talk about stuff of substance.
Yeah, so man. Leave the beef alone, man.
Yeah, when we bringing these people on, we talking to them about real shit. We're talking to people that's entrepreneurs. I seen Nels was saying that her home business picked up since the quarantine.
Yes, it has.
So we've
been putting out a lot more orders.
Yeah.
People have been calling, repeat. We got repeat customers that call again and again and again. And it's kind of it's dope, man. And it's inspiring moving forward to think, that there's more that can come out of this. So I appreciate everyone that supports Nell's Kitchen, and Real Edible Treats is an extension of that. That's another family member, my brother-in-law, with his juices and his infused juices and stuff. So this platform is geared to supporting one another. We're gonna leave the beef alone. We're gonna chop it up. We're gonna bring the best out of ourselves. And we're gonna make something for ourselves, man. Like I said, man, we need to focus on who we are, and that's it. Nobody else, man.
No doubt. Yo, so on that note, like, comment, subscribe, turn your notifications on.
Holla at your boy.
Appreciate everybody tuning in today.
Thank you, people. Peace, God.